I'm going to edge towards Glenswilly. I think under Gary McDade they've proven, not only this year but 2011, they can get through situations. Sometimes things don't go really for them, but they've managed to maintain a good winning habit, whoever narrow the margin. I think a lot of people might have underestimated Killybegs because they're poor league form this year, but I think you can see, and they showed the last few games, they're very solid at the back, with Hugh McFadden unearthed now, a real outball at full forward, and the only unbeaten team in this year's championship. But I think just Glenswilly have that little bit more experience, and they might just keep their own winning run of maybe 1 or 2 points going, which is something they've nearly mastered in this year's championship.
I think the important thing for Killybegs' perspective is not let Glenswilly get the start maybe that they got in our draw, because I think if Glenswilly build up ahead of steam, Killybegs could be in real trouble. But I think the lesson they would have learned from the final against Naomh Conaill 3 seasons ago would be that there. And I think we were all caught by surprise at how well Killybegs acquitted themselves against Malin. So I think if Killybegs can hold up in around half time to the quarter hour mark, it could be a very interesting tie. But at the same time, I think with it all on the line and the game changers that Glenswilly have, particularly Michael Murphy and even Colin Kelly, who's an exceptional footballer, I think Glenswilly will just about edge this.
Difficult enough, Brendan. Maybe at the start of the year you would have definitely said Kelly that Glenswilly would want to be the favourite. You know, they haven't played particularly well, but saying that, they've managed to scrape through against Kilcar and against Ardra, which is a big test for them in the second half, but they still managed to come good, losing an 8-point margin and coming back to level and then just getting the point at the right time. You know, Killybegs are a surprise package. There's no doubt about that. You know, played very well against McCool's and played very well against the fancied Malin side. Defensively, they're very well set up. There's some very good forwards there, particularly Hugh McFadden, who's a great find, I think, for them. You know, so Killybegs are there on merit. Both teams, they're basically defensive teams. They'll get a few scores and then they'll sit back. Michael Murphy, of course, and Neil Gallagher. Neil will have a huge bearing in the match in the middle of the park, I think, you know, probably more so than any other player. So it's difficult to predict. Killybegs been in the final 2 years ago. It's still hurting from that one. But I was quite impressed by them, I must say, in the semi-final. So I'd say it's going to be very, very tight, but I'd say give a cautious verdict and say that Glenswilly will just about scrape through again.
I suppose look at Killybegs, they've bucked the trend all the way through the championship. Quite remarkable, 14 league games, no wins, and the only unbeaten team left in the championship. A lot of big players through their team, like Jason Knocker and Matthew Smith. Plenty of inter-county experience there. Hugh McFadden coming into Jim McGuinness' setup in the last few weeks as well. But looking at their opponents, Glenswilly, so many big players and so many big names, the likes of Neil Gallagher, Michael Murphy, Kieran Bonner, Colin Kelly, all through their team. Champions 2 years ago, and of course Killybegs also with the experience of being in the final 3 years ago. But I think on Sunday week the money's on Glenswilly.